Hello everybody. Meaghan and I are thrilled to welcome you to this masterclass about concept-based inquiry in PE. And we're very happy to see so many of you have an interest in this topic. Myself and Meaghan will do, of course, our best to inspire you in the short time that we have to start or continue with deductive teaching in PE. And of course, hope you stick around at the end for some Q&A. So remember your questions, keep them to the end, and we're more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have. Now, before we get started, we would like to remind you of the copyright. Please do not take screenshots or recordings, but make as many notes as you want, and feel free to use these for yourself, just not in any public setting. We appreciate it. We will start with a little introduction of ourselves, so you know who you're dealing with today. And after that, we will look into 3 different guiding questions that relate to the transformation of PE when you start using concept and inquiry-based learning. We'll dive deeper into generalizations in PE, and we will share some deductive teaching examples with you. And I'm very excited about that part. So, hello. I'm Saskia. I'm from the Netherlands, and I'm close to finishing my 22nd year as a PE teacher. I've worked in the Netherlands, Belgium, in Qatar, China, and I'm currently working at the International School of Belgrade in Serbia. In addition to this, I'm a concept-based curriculum and instruction trainer, and in this capacity, I provide coaching and hope to expand this even more, supporting PE teachers and departments on their journey into concept and inquiry-based teaching and curriculum development for physical education and, of course, other subjects. I have presented a live lesson at the Learning Labs in The Hague in 2023, and I hope to get another chance at the Learning Labs in Luxembourg this year, November. It is my pleasure now to give the word to my amazing co-presenter, Meaghan.
Thank you, Saskia. I discovered the Erickson and Lanning CBCI trainer certification when I was making a career shift from physical education to curriculum. I immediately began using what I had learned during the Institute while having coaching conversations. Through supporting colleagues as they implemented concept-based instruction, I saw just how much it could transform my own teaching. Through what I have learned, my students and I have embarked on an amazing journey discovering just how physical education can foster critical thinking and deeper understanding of human interactions. In alignment with concept-based curriculum and instruction, we will guide this session through providing you with a few guiding questions. Why will practically applying concept and inquiry-based learning transform PE? As physical educators, an objective of ours is to have our students perform actions habitually. This is achieved through teaching proper form and then consistently practicing these movements with accurate techniques through drills and activities. In kindergarten, we want them to perform catching and throwing with the same degree of confidence that they walk or sit. However, with natural movements already learned, these skills are not always technically sound. It is important that they understand the how and why of the movements. If we simply tell them the what, stand like this, move like this, we may be teaching the skill over and over again. There is a process to developing these skills and techniques. Our learners will demonstrate better skill acquisition if they understand these processes. For example, when throwing, one should use opposition. We often demonstrate this form to our learners, but how often do we explain why? The next few slides will take you through the process of creating and improving generalizations. As mentioned previously, we as physical educators often focus on the what of the activity, tactic, or skill. When we do this, we are implementing a 2-dimensional curriculum. We might focus on ensuring that our learners participate in as many activities and sports, including multiple skills, without a focus on deeper understanding. Concept-based PE, on the other hand, ensures that our students develop a deeper understanding through transfer of the concepts, skills, and facts they learn throughout each unit. My students used to say all the magic words when discussing working together: collaboration, feedback, teamwork, communication, and I would let the group discussions be dominated by vocal learners that knew the key words: With synergistic thinking, my students now demonstrate their understanding of these concepts through answering guiding questions and assessments that align with the generalization.
So that's me again. Yes, and I can only agree with Meaghan. Throughout my career, I've seen my practice change. I mean, 22 years is a long time. And with that, the experience and development of the students. For example, the use of open space. Not an easy concept to teach when students do not explore and experience it firsthand. However, I'd never seen such a rich variety in students' use of space until I invited them to explore and experience different ways of moving into open space. By engaging in practical tasks designed to help them answer guiding questions, students developed greater spatial awareness and began to grasp key offensive and defensive strategies. And especially students making this connection with the offensive and defensive strategies was a thrilling thing for me to experience as a teacher. For example, focusing on this last point, most PE teachers can probably agree that this is a challenge. Started at the wrong point. Students running in straight lines changed into students using deceptive movements while trying to get around defense in a flag football unit. And offensive players waiting for the ball changed into making off-ball runs to actually move into space or take a step back to receive in several invasion games that we've played after introducing them to these concepts. Ball-focused defensive play turned into anticipating space. So defenders effectively moving on the pitch, trying to limit the movements and the receiving of the ball of the offensive team. And players crowding around the ball versus intentionally spreading out, taking that step back to actually receive the ball from one of their teammates. Now, this is the last point most PE teachers in here can probably agree that this is a challenge. The open space and students moving away from the ball. In my case, it definitely does not happen all the time, but it still is useful and fun to go through the process from knowing and doing to knowing, doing, and understanding, and actually seeing students apply it in practice and have their aha moments.
What makes a strong generalization in PE? Seeing what you just did tells you what you should practice and think about next is the actual generalization I was hoping to get to, as this generalization is for kindergarten. When creating generalizations, we will create the actual generalization, but our students may not have the language we would need for the generalization. On the next slide, I will show you one of the tools provided by CBCI to assist you in developing quality generalizations. Some of you new to concept-based learning might be asking what a generalization is and why do we need it? A generalization is similar to a big idea of a unit. However, we use 5 to 9 generalizations instead of 1. These general statements help teachers determine the degree of each learner's understanding. We develop generalizations from level 1 to level 2 in order to observe how their initial thinking process progresses into the students clarifying their own thoughts and understandings. I wanted to have the students working with understanding that the value of feedback and how it comes in different forms. My first generalization, feedback that is positive, construction, and timely, would have kept my students at a 2-dimensional level. To ensure that there was deep understanding, I used this tool from Drs. Erickson and Lanning. Answering the guiding questions helped me to get to a generalization that promotes 3-dimensional learning. Our goal is to get our students to be able to answer level 2 generalizations. We occasionally will have level 3 generalizations in our units. The generalization processing extrinsic feedback drives practice and fosters intrinsic feedback is asking the students to understand what their focus should be as they perform the task again. These guiding questions were designed to help the students investigate the understandings of the unit, lesson, or activity. Strong generalizations should be explicit and specific. Strong generalizations should demonstrate the connections that have the concepts have with each other and authentic concepts. You will now hear students answer some guiding questions. It'll play in a little bit. It's just giving you time to read the questions.
Use the overhead throw.
So you do your overhand throw. That's how you get more power?
Assume so. Hey, you can use the strength from the other places because when you throw with your right hand, you can go other places.
What's one of the other places from your body?
Yeah, sometimes, but
How do you use your legs to get power?
We need to use more power on our arms, not our hands. Then we can throw more powerful. Focus the thing or the person you're throwing to. Don't look at other things. Just focus on what you're throwing. You can take your hand back and do the overhand throw as well. So I'm used to overhand because it can help me throw more far and better. Because if there's no balance, you fell down and then you'll be hurt.
Said why balance is important, but how do you get balance when you're throwing?
Stand on your 2 feet. Balance is you have to stand on your feet. You will fall down if you throw very hard. To keep balance and stand on your 2 feet. Or else if you try to do something like be funny and stand on 1 feet, maybe you'll fall down while you're throwing. So you can use what you think is comfortable to just right hand do. If you're comfortable to use right hand, you can use right. If you use right hand to right, you just use right hand to throw. You have to see which hand you throw. You think it feels better. If I throw this hand, I think it don't feel good. I will use this hand and throw it. You should use the hand that you write with, the hand that you use as usual, that you are comfortable with, and that you can throw with that.
These generalizations were created as I was coaching a colleague of mine. These generalizations tell me that there is still work to be done with these students as they are lacking understanding. After completing the entrance ticket, I watched them throw. Some of them naturally were using opposition and displaying correct ways for implementing power, such as stepping and rotating. This tells me perhaps they know how to throw with proper technique, but do not understand the why of what we're doing yet. Still others need more instruction and practice as they did not demonstrate proper technique and they could not explain how to fix their positioning. Through generalizing, it is also apparent that the learners did not understand completely the concept of balance. You may have heard that a student made a comment about stepping with his leg, and then I said, why? Why did you step with your leg? Doctors Lanning and Erickson point out that when we use why, children might lose their confidence. Instead of asking why, I could have responded instead with, can you tell me more? Or some other question that didn't cause the student to doubt what he had said. Can you describe to me how you throw? Do you usually throw to a person or do you throw to a target? Okay. So what happens if you try to hit something and you don't hit it? Then what do you do next time?
I will try more harder.
Okay. How do you try harder? What do you focus on something different or?
I focus on the same. If I try 10 times I didn't hit it, I will try another thing.
So what if you always miss your target, but you miss it too high or too low?
I will try to. I will look at the target. What is the target?
You like to throw to a person or do you like to throw at like a target?
Person.
Say that you were throwing to me and I didn't catch it. Would you do something different for your next throw?
I will throw to another person.
Oh, so because I couldn't catch it, you throw to somebody else? You wouldn't try to help me to catch it?
Sometimes I will do both times.
Okay, what if you wanted me to catch it? Then what would you do?
I will throw it again to you.
Okay, would you change your throw at all?
No.
No. Okay. What if the throw was over my head? Then would you change your throw at all?
Now I will run and pick it up and throw it to you again.
Okay. Would you change your throw? Before it was way up here over my head. Would you change your throw at all?
I throw to another person.
Okay. What about another spot on my body? Would you throw to another spot on my body?
Yes.
Okay. So if I'm throwing to you, where do you like the ball to be thrown to?
My head.
Okay. So if my hands were here, would you tell me to put my hands somewhere else? So you would tell me to put my hands where?
Yeah.
Here. So you would tell me to put my hands at my shoulder. Okay. Thank you so much. Give me a high five. You're awesome. You may have heard that the student stated that if I cannot catch the ball, she would move on to working with someone else. This is an amusing and cute statement. However, now that we're working with concept base, we don't just laugh it off, but look at how we could use this statement to create a culture of teamwork and collaboration in future lessons and help the student understand how she and her partner can work together.
Right. How to teach PE inductively. So for my example, I'm taking you into a netball unit that I've been doing in my middle years here at ISB in Belgrade. Here are 5 generalizations for a unit we have focused on for 5 weeks. Practice accelerates development through increased refinement of skills, and you will probably recognize the IB key and related concepts here. Athletes work together and make strategic decisions when their movement is limited. Athletes change how they pass depending on space, speed, and timing in the game. Effective attacking relies on timely decisions that balance individual actions with team strategy, and teams that communicate clearly and consistently can overcome individual weaknesses through collective strength and strategic decision-making. Now, we are going to look into the guiding questions and the case studies linked to generalization number 3. The bold might have given it away already. This generalization also looks at throwing, but in a more advanced situation. So here you see the guiding questions I've used with my students. Guiding question 3A, what are the different types of passes used in netball, is linked to the warming up, where students are asked to demonstrate all the different passes used in netball, which they explored in a previous lesson. Most of the time, in this case, I walk around and ask some of the students quickly what the passes are or support those students who need it in any way, shape, or form. For question 3B, how does the available space influence your choice of pass? Students play an adapted game on pitches of various sizes, a small, medium, and normal or full-size pitch. I asked them to focus on the passes they mainly use in which pitch situation. We will discuss this shortly when we gather for some rest after playing on one pitch size. So after the students have played, all my students are playing. The gym is divided into 2 fields. They both have a quarter of the official field available to them. They play for some time. I call them in so they have a rest, and then we answer question 3B. I also give students then instructions on how to change the size of their pitch, which is a really fast thing of picking up 2 or 3 cones and then move them into a different position to go from a quarter to a half field. After the small and medium rounds, I link this to question 3E as well. So here students are asked how fast they need to pass and how much time and space they have for passing when comparing the pitch sizes. So we repeat this after playing on a normal pitch size as well. So students gather, and I also ask them question 3E. What do you need to consider when you pass in this game and this field size? Now for me, that's a lesson done. I don't have that much time. So the next lesson, when they come in, we will start with a game of netball with man-to-man defense and everybody moving all over the pitch. So I will still have the wing attack and the wing defense and the goal shooter and the goalkeeper linked together. However, everybody can move all over the pitch. While 2 teams are playing, a 3rd team will be on the side discussing questions 3D. What passes did you use in the man-to-man defense game? And 3E, again, what did the players do, or what did the players have to consider when they were passing in the game? They can actually discuss this on the side in relation to this game. When all teams have played and discussed question 3D and 3E, we move into official netball with the limited movements on the pitch. The center third, goal thirds, and goal boxes are all indicated, and all players know where to go. When all teams have played at least one time, the students take a water break, and during this water break, we will talk about question 3D. What passes did you use in the zonal defense game? What is the difference compared to the man-to-man defense game? From here, students will move into generalization. I either do that at the end of the class or as an entrance ticket the next lesson when they come in, depending on how much time I have. In smaller groups, my students will get a mini whiteboard on which they will answer question 3F with their generalization. So how does a game situation affect the type of pass used by athletes? And my students do this together because they're still in a starting stage of writing generalizations. But here are some of their answers on question 3F. We now understand that if the court is bigger, then the passes will be longer and the speed will be slower, and you will need more time to think about where you will pass the ball. And this also depends on where the defenders and attackers are on the court. We now understand that the type of pass used depends on the speed of the game, positioning of offense and defense. We now understand that depending on the space, the players have the passing changes. So if they have more space, the passes are bigger, and they have more space. And if they have less space, they are shorter. Two more for you. We now understand that if the distance between two players is short, you should use a chest pass, which will be easy, and it will have a lot of speed. If the distance is bigger, the pass will be higher and slower. The last one, we now understand that the type of pass you use depends on in-game situations such as field size, pressure form, and the defense, and the positions of the players. Now, this was the generalization I was looking for. Athletes change how they pass depending on space, speed, and timing in the game. Of course, I did not share this with my students because they wrote their understanding, and it is not a right or wrong answer. It is up to me as a teacher then to see if they understood and ended up where I wanted them to go, or if I need to spend some more time addressing the concepts that I was trying to teach them. So in my next example, there is a similar approach for a handball unit. With a cross-comparison chart, students indicated how long it took for them to perform the entire pass, which is question 2C. How fast is this pass and how much time do you need to make this pass? So we looked at the entire length of the pass, from preparation to retraction, the action of the throw, and the actual follow-through. We also discussed, or I also asked them to answer how much distance the pass actually covered, which is question 2B. How far can you throw the ball with this technique? While making this presentation and writing everything down, another option popped up in my head. It would have been, we could have also looked at the trajectory of the ball. Great ideas always come too late, but I will definitely use this in the future as an additional question. Another option would be to let students go through all passes and then split them into 3 teams. And then the team that is not playing on the side could put their findings on a spectrum sort, a continuum, where they actually indicate how fast or slow the pass is, so how much time it takes, and they put all 5 passes we've discussed on this continuum, or how much of a distance they can cover with the pass, and do exactly the same from a far to short continuum or spectrum sort. When they have come to a conclusion with their team, they can video their reasoning, and I can watch those videos later. Now here's an example that I did on the big board. Like, I had some students come in that need some extra support, extra questions, or they're language learners, and they answered the questions with me on the board. The third column actually is linked to question 3D. Where or in which situations would students use these passes? We discussed this with the whole class. And we did this to support the students who needed better insight into the application of all handball passes. So number one is the overhead pass, getting the ball across the field. That was where and in which situation students would use this pass. The second pass, the bounce pass, students indicated they would use it to pass under the defense and when the distance was short. The side pass, which is a typical handball pass, they would use that when they are next to somebody attacking at the circle. For the jump pass or the shot, they would use it to get over the defense in order to score. And for the hip pass, which is also a sideways pass used in handball, these students indicated they would use it to full defense when you are across from someone. Here's another one. I did this in another class as well. Again, overhead, passing to medium or long distance when time allows. A bounce, medium to short distance to avoid a defender. The side pass when running across the field or when attacking at the circle. The jump shot or pass when shooting to get above the defense and to get closer to the goal. And the hip pass for a medium or short range to start a fast break with defense and around the circle. Now, this definitely emphasizes the why of the passes and hopefully helps students realize in which situation they should use each pass, which totally links to the question number one we opened this masterclass with. Why will practically applying concept and inquiry-based learning transform PE? Because we help students understand the why of what is happening in the game. Now, of course, the students wrote their generalization to answer question 2E. How can mastering or practicing various passing techniques benefit an athlete's performance in handball? Here are some of their answers. By mastering or practicing throwing techniques, you allow yourself to experience throwing in different ways and distances, giving you a variety of ways to avoid opponents. It also benefits you because it allows you to adapt to different circumstances so that you can confuse your opponents and take advantage of these skills to create great opportunities for your teammates to score. Each passes are used in various scenarios to beat various defenses. I have a few more for you. If you were to master passing techniques, you could be much better at sharing the ball with your team. It would also allow you to be unpredictable and bypass the defense because of it. Now, what I love in this generalization is that all the effort that has been put in another unit, talking about empathy and safety for everybody in class, both physically and mentally, it helps students come to this conclusion also, that they want to adapt and want to involve everybody in the game. So that's one for the teacher to put in your pocket. Gold star. Another generalization they came up with, it gives you a variety of choices to different situations and can make your team more aggressive due to the change of unexpected passes. Various throwing techniques can benefit our performance by allowing us to have a range of passes we can use in various situations, allowing to find the most effective one. It benefits our performance because it will allow us to score in various conditions. You are not limited to overhead passes. If you're not limited to overhead passes, it makes you unpredictable for the defenders, allows you to pass in different situations. It benefits you and your team by being unique and unpredictable for the other team. Moreover, they allow you to work with different teammates with different speeds and styles. Again, the empathy there. Yay! The generalization I was looking for was mastering various passing techniques enables athletes to adjust their actions to specific game situations.
When we first start working with other physical educators, the number one thing that people seem concerned about is how can we go to concept base? How can we do all this generalizing and still keep our activity time? Easy way to do it is work it into what you're already doing. Many of us, I think all of us, have drink breaks or have many students that you have to sub in and out. I like to have multiple teams so that one team is not just observing, but they're also answering some of the questions and generalizing. If you do tag or dodgeball or capture the flag or any type of elimination games, in order to get back into the game, you can have cards present where students come over, answer some of the guiding questions, and it can also be worked into group discussions. I like to use whiteboards, especially when I'm in the gym, or mini whiteboards. But if you don't have access to them, or you don't like your students writing, or it's not handy for you, one of the things that you can also do is record. Just like I had done, I just had my iPhone and I was just having the students record what they are saying. A school I used to work at, we used to get on the bus to go to our venue, and that would be an excellent way for us to use, is have the students maybe answering some questions to get to generalizations on the way to the venue, and then answering questions on the way back.
Sorry, I had to find my unmute button. All right, so thank you so much, Saskia and Meaghan. I think one of the most valuable parts about this masterclass is actually seeing it happen in real classrooms, seeing true examples of student generalizations, and just seeing what that looks like when students are really given the opportunity to unpack that how and why, to explore and articulate what the skills and strategies look like in practice. And we were talking a little bit before the masterclass, and Saskia was saying that one of the greatest things is when you have students generalize, but then you actually see the transfer. So we were talking about that idea of bunching, and you've had students generalize the importance of finding space, and then you watch them in the game go, oh, hang on a minute, and they actually physically move back. And then they get the ball because they moved back and they created that open space. So it's that opportunity to help articulate how and why athletes do what they do. Both Meaghan and Saskia connected with me through the Erickson and Lanning Trainer Certification Institute. If that is something that you are interested in, maybe it's something you've been thinking about over the course of the last couple of years, do get your applications in now. The applications close for our 2025-2026 cohort, which begins on August 16th, but applications close at the end of this month. So you've only got about 15 days. Well, I can't even remember. 10 days? What day are we up to? 10 days to get your application in. So if it's something you're considering, do go ahead and get your application in as soon as possible. I know that there are actually lots of people on this masterclass watching today who have done the Institute. So maybe if you're one of the people who've done the Institute, you could briefly share a little bit about your experience in the chat. Here's the link in the chat to the application for the Trainer Certification Institute.